Rugby World Cup 2019 is not that far away. A lot of us are looking at the Rugby World Cup, trying to figure out how things are going to go. You can look at the brackets, you can look at the betting odds, and you can look at history. History is the one I'm looking at here today. Try and figure out who does history tell us is going to win the Rugby World Cup. So I've had a look at the fixtures list, at the pools, and tried to work out based on historical results at Rugby World Cups who is going to win the whole thing. As a New Zealand fan, I know that we've got a decent World Cup record. We've won it more than anybody else, but for a long time we didn't win it, and there were some teams who we particularly struggled against. So I'm basically looking at World Cup head-to-head records and giving the edge to the team who's got the better of those two records. So that'll kind of become clear as I go through things. Some of these teams are playing each other who have not played each other at World Cups before. In those cases, I am just going on current world rankings, but those are the minority, and to be fair, often are some of the more like the tier 2 teams. So we'll start with Pool A. Pool A has Ireland, Scotland, Japan, Russia, and Samoa. Ireland traditionally not the best performers at World Cup times. I think Irish fans would be with me on that. It's not been their time to shine, to be fair. A lot of expectations with this upcoming World Cup. Samoa probably better historically than they have been in recent years, and Japan have been on the end of a few hidings at World Cup. So let's have a look. How does Pool A play out? So you got Japan playing Russia in the opening game. They've never played before at a World Cup. We go with Japan based on their world ranking. And then Ireland plays Scotland in the second game, which is probably the biggest of that pool. They've only played each other once at a World Cup, which I find kind of startling. I should say that I did look up all these previous historical results manually, so there may be the odd human error, but I feel like I got most of them. Scotland get the win over Ireland by 9 points based on historical numbers. I don't know how likely that is in 2019. Ireland have been pretty strong. Scotland tradition didn't travel that well, but if we're looking at the history, that's what we're going with. So Scotland get the win. Samoa beat Russia based on world rankings. Ireland beat Japan. They've played each other twice at World Cups, 19 points. Scotland beat Samoa. They've played each other 3 times before, all going to Scotland. Ireland have played Russia at World Cups. Russia's only been to the World Cup once, and they played. Ireland win by 50 points. Samoa beat Japan, which would be a bit of an upset, I suppose, with Japan being at home. They have played each other twice. The results have been split, 1 to Japan, 1 to Samoa, but that Samoan win was bigger. So I'm going with the Samoans, clearly, obviously, just on historical tendencies, not on current form. Ireland beat Samoa, and then that's also, I think, based on world rankings because they haven't played at World Cups. And Scotland beat Japan pretty comfortably. They've played each other 3 times at World Cups. So for Pool A, Scotland fans will be pretty happy. Based on historical results, they win the pool. With 4 wins, no losses. They get 2 bonus point victories, finish on 18 points. Ireland get 3 wins, the 1 loss, 3 bonus point victories. They don't get a losing bonus point to Scotland, but they finish on 15. Samoa, Japan, and Russia are 3rd, 4th, and 5th, respectively. So Russia finished without any points, Samoa on 8, and Japan just the 1 win over Russia on 5. I think if that really happened, Japan would be pretty disappointed with that. I think they will... there's even talk of them targeting that Scotland game, so yeah, they would be disappointed. Pool B, that's New Zealand, South Africa, Italy, Namibia, and Canada. In that pool, obviously, New Zealand and South Africa are big favourites in that game, and that pool does open with New Zealand playing South Africa. It's the first game. These guys have played 4 times at World Cups, and the record, I'm including bronze medal matches as well, just FYI, it's 2 apiece for New Zealand and South Africa, but by points difference, it's New Zealand who edged that one. They beat South Africa by 3 points. So yeah, very, very close history between those two teams. Italy beats Namibia based on world rankings. Canada loses to Italy. They've played each other twice at World Cups, but the points difference is only 5, so that would be a pretty decent result for Canada, I think. South Africa beats Namibia by 87 points. They've only played once at a World Cup. New Zealand beats Canada. Interestingly enough, they've played each other 3 times at World Cups. New Zealand getting all the wins. South Africa beats Italy. They have never played each other at a World Cup, but I guess if you think South Africa's first World Cup was later than most people's, that kind of makes sense. New Zealand beat Namibia pretty comfortably. They've played once at a World Cup. South Africa beat Canada. Again, they've played once at a World Cup. New Zealand beat Italy. They've played 5 times at World Cups. The Italians must be sick of the sight of the All Blacks at Rugby World Cups. They must be just cursing every time they see them in the same pool. 59 points, the average win. And then Canada get a big win over Namibia to round out the pool. They've played once at a World Cup, and it was 61 points in Canada's favour. So Pool B has New Zealand on top, not dropping a game, 19 points, 3 bonus point wins. South Africa in second with 3 wins, the 1 loss, 16 points, again 3 bonus point wins and 1 bonus point, losing to the All Blacks. Italy come third, Canada fourth, which I think they're kind of picked to bottom that pool out, but and Namibia in fifth, so also on 0 points. Pool C. Pool C is England, France, Argentina, USA, and Tonga. The kind of closest thing we've got to a pool of death. That tends to be the way things go at Rugby World Cups, is that there's that one pool with the 3 top teams in there. You could kind of argue that Fiji is at that point now where they also make a pool of death. But I think this one is more of a pool of death, even if the other one is as well. So France and Argentina open the pool, and it's Argentina who have a 2-1 record over France at Rugby World Cups by 2 points, so very close. England comfortable over Tonga, 52 points over 2 results in the past. England also, it's interesting they back up, like it's England and then England. Similar with Pool B, it's Italy then Italy. There's not much of a turnaround. But they play the USA. They've played twice at World Cups, 52-point margin, so comfortable. Argentina beat Tonga. They've played once at World Cups. France beat USA. And then it's England against Argentina, and England have the upper hand there. They've played twice, both results going England's way, but only by 5 points, so losing bonus point for the Pumas. France beat Tonga, and interestingly, they have a 1-1 record at Rugby World Cups, because in the pool of 2011, Tonga managed to beat France, and France went on to make the final, but they were pretty lucky to get out of the pool. But by points differential, it goes to France, so they get a win there. England beat France in the penultimate match of the pool. 3 results have gone England's way at World Cups to 2 to France. A 3-point differential, so very close. And Tonga get the win over USA. So that pool would finish up England on top, undefeated, also on 18 points like the All Blacks were. Argentina make it through second. 14 points, 3 wins, a loss, a bonus point win, and a losing bonus point. France 2 points behind with 2 wins, 2 losses, 2 bonus point wins, and 2 bonus point losses. So they would be out at the pool stages. Tonga in fourth, and USA rounding out the bottom with not a point registered. Pool D. Finally, you get Australia, Wales, Georgia, Fiji, and Uruguay. There's a few of these teams who have not played each other before at World Cups, but the first result would be Australia over Fiji. Now, there are people who are questioning Australia's ability to get up over Fiji at this World Cup because Australian rugby has been in a bit of disarray. The Israel Folau saga has not added any help there. But, yeah, so Australia over Fiji, and pretty comfortably, actually. Historically, it's 29 points. I think Australia would take that all day, every day right now, but historically, that's what it is. Wales over Georgia based on current world rankings because they haven't played. Fiji over Uruguay, that kind of makes sense. Uruguay over Georgia. They've played once at World Cups and it was Uruguay by 12 points. So I think the Georgians would be pretty disappointed with that. But that's what it is. Australia over Wales. That would be a big result for Australia. I mean, Australia have had the wood on Wales for quite some time. Until recently. Wales were absolutely immense this year and last year, so that would be a big result for Australia. They have played, they must be also sick of the sight of each other 6 times at Rugby World Cup, so they are very familiar with each other. 12 points is what the Aussies average. Man, with that Welsh defence, you would definitely take that all day long. Fiji over Georgia based on world rankings. There's only a few spots between them, to be fair. Australia over Uruguay. They have played once at the Rugby World Cup before, 60-odd points. Wales over Fiji. Do you remember that result that Fiji got over Wales in the past? So it is only a 2-1 record at World Cups for Wales over Fiji, but it is a 24-point margin, so comfortable. Australia over Georgia on world rankings, and then Wales over Uruguay. They have played once at a World Cup. It was by 45 points. So in that pool, Fiji doesn't do enough to upset anybody. They go out at the pool stages with Uruguay in 4th and Georgia in 1st. Australia, unlikely as it may seem, top the pool, undefeated, 19 points. Wales in 2nd with 15 points, 3 bonus point wins, unable to pick up a losing bonus point against the Wallabies. That would be a bit of a shocker. So how does that line teams up for the quarterfinals? It makes England against England against Wales in quarterfinal number 1, and then that would be a very tasty matchup, all Northern Hemisphere. New Zealand against Ireland. I think that's a match a lot of us are kind of looking forward to, but it would mean one of the sides would have to drop that game. So in this historical run, it was Ireland that dropped the game. Australia against Argentina in the 3rd quarterfinal, and then Scotland against South Africa. So Scotland being the pool winner and South Africa being the runner-up. So how does this go down? In the 1st quarterfinal, England against Wales. Interestingly, they've played 3 times at World Cups, and it is Wales who have the better record. I guess that last World Cup was the decisive game. It's by 2 points. So Wales, despite being the runner-up in their pool, they progress through to a semi-final, knock England out at the quarterfinals. Quarterfinal 2, New Zealand against Ireland. Well, if you know Ireland's records at Rugby World Cups, you can kind of see where this one's going. They have only played once at Rugby World Cups, and it was New Zealand by 24 points. So, again, you can't really imagine that happening. I mean, New Zealand demolished France in the quarterfinal at the last World Cup, but just with Ireland, you really can't see that happening. But still, that's what it is. So New Zealand progress, Ireland out in the quarterfinals again. If it's based on history, I guess that's kind of likely to happen. Quarterfinal 3, Australia against Argentina. They have played 3 times. Australia have won all 3. So Australia, despite being in disarray, like I said, having a good historical run at the Rugby World Cup 2019 by 14 points. And then the 4th quarterfinal, South Africa, the runner-up against Scotland of their pool, managed to pip Scotland. Well, not pip them. 18 points over 2 games is their historical record. So South Africa progressed through to the semis. So it is Wales against New Zealand in semi-final number 1. It's a North and South clash, and then it's an all Southern Hemisphere match in semi-final number 2 with the Springboks up against the Wallabies. Now, semi-final 1 with Wales against New Zealand. When was the last time Wales beat New Zealand? It's been a while. I mean, I'm definitely not saying it couldn't happen at this World Cup, because Wales are looking a very tidy team, more than tidy. But on historical results, it's 3-0 to New Zealand, so that's a 28-point romping, I guess. So you can't really imagine that happening again. Funny things have happened, but yeah, New Zealand go through to the final based on historical results. Interestingly, the Australia-South Africa one is a hard one to differentiate because they have played 3 times at Rugby World Cups. Australia have the record at 2-1, but based on points difference, because that one South African win was more points than the 2 Australian results put together, it's pretty close. So if I'm going on wins ahead of just points as like the primary differentiator, it has to be Australia who go through. I'm going to call that one Australia go through after extra time. I don't know if they get a drop goal or they get a try, but either way, it goes to 80. There's no clear decision as to who's the winner in that one, and then it's Australia at the death. Bronze medal match between Wales and South Africa. That one goes to South Africa. With them having played twice and South Africa getting a 3-point advantage over them. So it's a tight bronze medal match. And then it's the final between New Zealand and Australia. And you may be thinking, of course, New Zealand's going to romp home. Just remember, they've played 4 times. And New Zealand fans will remember the 4 more years moment. It's 2 apiece. on World Cup records. It's 2 apiece. So it does come down to points differential, and it's tight. In the final, it goes New Zealand by 2 to win their 3rd successive Rugby World Cup in 2019 over Australia. So a rematch of the previous World Cup final, and New Zealand getting the job done by 2 points. That would be a heck of a game. But as I said, the current kind of media talk and pundits talk is, are Australia going to get out of their pool, let alone make a Rugby World Cup final? You look at the likes of Wales and Ireland in particular. I don't think their previous World Cup records do their current squads justice. So this is all historical stuff. It was a bit of fun to have a look and to see how things would go. You guys let me know how you think these are going to go. Do you think any of these historical results do play on the minds of the players? Because I know, at least in New Zealand, when we were going into that quarterfinal against France at the last World Cup, there was a lot of talk about, the French can really do anything to the All Blacks on their day, they can beat us. And that emphatic win that the All Blacks got really kind of seemed to bury those demons. So, do you think any of these sides kind of have those demons? Wales getting that win, not at the World Cup, but over Australia last year, probably a similar thing for them. So how much do you think that plays on the guys' minds? Do you think they don't take it into consideration, or do you think it's part of it? Yeah, it's been a bit of fun, but you guys let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.